So in our house, it's the first weekend in December. The first weekend in December. That's when the Christmas machine starts to really roll in our house. That's when our nativity scene gets set up, where our stockings get hung and our tree gets purchased and starts to get decorated and everything starts rolling. And in our house, one of the most immediate kind of triggers of the launch of Christmas that kind of stays constant throughout the whole holiday season are the Christmas tunes. For my wife, Becky, she wants to hear and kind of feel the sounds of Christmas. And I certainly don't want to appear like I don't, but I be honest with you that by about the middle of December, that Muzak or radio station or whatever she's got going, that playlist of Christmas songs, I've gone through them just about enough by about the middle of December. I could sing almost all of them verbatim. And one of them that is in at least our Christmas playlist is the 1943 Bing Crosby classic, I'll Be Home for Christmas. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that or remember the lyrics behind it. You'll be thankful that I'm not going to try to sing them for you, but the lyrics of that song are actually from the perspective of a soldier, a World War II soldier, kind of writing or singing that song to his family back home. And the idea is to prepare them for Christmas and to get all of the kind of details of Christmas ready for him because, as the song concludes, he says, I'll be home for Christmas if only in my dreams. I mean, think about it. It's not the most kind of upbeat, joyous, festive kind of tune, but it certainly captures the longing of his heart to be reconnected with his family. I know we've all felt that before, haven't we? That longing to be close to the people that we love. Maybe the first time you felt it was when you were a kid at summer camp, the very first week that you were ever at overnight camp away from your parents. Or maybe it was when you were in college during Frosh Week when your parents helped move you in and then shut the door kind of behind you and went home. Maybe it was when you were engaged and you and your fiance just couldn't wait to be together. Or maybe it's as a parent, with an adult kid who lives out of town, just waiting to visit or waiting for them to come visit. And inevitably all of us have felt that, haven't we? That longing to be reunited, that longing to be close to those we care about the most. And in the spirit of the song, there's part of us that will do whatever it takes to be reconnected with our loved ones, because that's what love is about, isn't it? Being close, being in proximity, enjoying each other's presence. Well, I know that we all know that that's what love's about, and that's what that's what that longing feeling is all about. What I wonder though is whether we realize whether that's what Christmas is all about, or at least the biblical Christmas. That feeling, that longing to be close, to do whatever it takes to be reconnected with those you care about the most, that's actually the underlying feeling of the biblical Christmas. I don't know if you've ever thought about it that way. Sometimes we have to take a step back from all of the detail and the elements of the nativity scene in order to see the bigger picture. To see a God who's wanted nothing more than to be in close relationship with his prized creation, but a creation in humanity who rejected that offer, went our own way, and in that independence and rebellion created separation, fractured that relationship that God wanted to have with us. And in that state of separation, in that state of independence, a brokenness and a fallenness kicked in that has only compounded over time. But the scriptures teach, rather than kind of sitting up in heaven and kind of tisking, waving his finger at a humanity that probably deserved it, the Bible says that God's heart was broken. And the more the implications and consequences of that fallenness and brokenness have compounded, the more God's heart has ached for that relationship with humanity to be restored. And Christmas, so the scriptures teach, Christmas represents that moment in time when God finally acted on those urges and did something to rectify that chasm that existed between humanity and himself. Christmas is all about God reestablishing closeness. First of all, God becoming a human, becoming one of us, becoming close to us on earth. It represents God coming to earth and from the barnyard birth to the full human experience, suffering and experiencing all of the challenges and trials that we face, entering into the reality of our lives, becoming close with our experience. And then through the eventual criminal's death and resultant resurrection from the dead, Jesus Christ makes his Spirit alive and available to invade the lives of forgiven believers, so that from a spiritual perspective, for all time, God can be close to people once again. He can be close to those who put their trust in him and receive the forgiveness that Jesus' death provides. That's what Christmas launches. Christmas is a celebration of God's closeness on earth for a time, so that God by his Spirit can be close to people for all time. It's the ultimate act of the God of the universe doing whatever it took to reestablish the proximity and presence of close relationship with his prized creation. It's God doing everything he needed to do to be close again with those he cares about the most. I don't know if you've ever considered that that's the heartbeat behind what Christmas is all about. A lot of times we focus on the facts of Christmas, on what the nativity scene represents. We focus on this baby named Jesus who had a mother named Mary, who was born in a manger in a town called Bethlehem with shepherds and wise men, and on and on and on it goes. Those are just the facts of Christmas. The feeling of Christmas, though, the feeling of Christmas is of a God desperate to be in relationship with those he loves, devastated by their rejection and abandonment of that vision, who did whatever it took and paid the ultimate price to be close to us for a time in order that he could be close to us by his Spirit for all time. Christmas is the launch of satisfying that longing that God has to be close to every single one of us, no matter who we are or what we've done. Kind of makes me wonder, knowing that we've all felt that feeling before, we know that longing from our own experience, whether we've ever found ourselves in a place where we felt that longing for God. Or, maybe more accurately, when was the last time perhaps you felt that longing for God? Have you watched the news recently? Have you looked at the headlines and seen, kind of tragedies or natural disasters or bombings or strife and wondered where God is, feeling a longing for God to be close, to be among all of this? You ever received bad news of a diagnosis or the loss of a loved one, some other painful, really difficult circumstance, and wished for nothing more than the sense that God was close to walk with you and to comfort you in the midst of that pain? Ever found yourself in the middle of a conflict or an argument with a friend or a family member or a coworker or a classmate, and just wish that there was a God who could help you navigate through that, help you kind of see your way through that difficult circumstance? Maybe you've been in a place where you needed guidance sometime. You had a big decision to make, or you weren't sure which way to turn, and you longed for nothing more than for a guiding God, a sovereign agent to come in and to be able to whisper a sense of direction, to kind of show you the way. I wonder today if we've ever experienced that before, or maybe if we're honest with ourselves, when the last time was that we experienced that longing, that hunger for God to just reach out and be close to us in the ways in which we most desperately need him to be. And this Christmas, I wonder whether we've ever realized that God has longed for the very same thing. And that Christmas represents God's reconnection strategy. The lengths that God has gone to come to earth for a time, to be with us by his Spirit for all time. If you're in a place today where you're longing for God, understand that the God of the universe has been longing for close relationship with you as well. And as we take some moments to just reflect on everything that could mean for us, let's consider some of those areas where we may be longing for God these days. And remember, especially at Christmas, the heart cry of love that is longing to be with us, that has done whatever it takes to make that possible because of his love for you and me. Check this out.